Justin Wilcox. Go ahead and take questions in the chat and we'll get going. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Fratto. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, good afternoon, Justin. When you've had your best defenses here at Cal, you either took the ball away a lot or you got a lot of sacks. You don't have a lot of either of those so far this year. How impactful has that been, and how do you generate more of that?
It's a huge part of playing great defense. Rushing the quarterback, taking the ball away. The other one I would bring up is third down defense, and we haven't been up to the standard where we've been in the past. I think there are some guys who are making progress, and those are areas that we talk about all the time. How can we help the players improve in those areas so we can get better statistics, which ultimately will lead to better defense.
Obviously you want to be sound in all ways, but is it nearly impossible to be a real elite defense unless you can do those things?
It's very difficult to play great defense without either of those two. Yes, I would agree with that.
And do you see it coming, or?
Well, we've seen it in stretches. I think like in the second half, it was much more noticeable how we affected the quarterback in the pass game, and also much more competitive on the ball in the coverage. And so we saw glimpses of that. And so if it was any one thing would fix it, we would just do the drill, and that would be the one thing. It's just there's some new faces, and there's some guys that are getting some valuable reps, and we have to just do it with consistency. It's there's moments, but in order to play good defense, it's you can't do it 60 out of 75 plays. You got to be hitting at a higher clip than that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, Coach. You guys had, I think, 4 different guys go off with injuries against Washington, and Nico, Damian, Jake Tonjes, and Stanley McKenzie. Are all those guys practicing this week?
It's too early to tell yet, Trace. I think probably on Thursday have a lot better idea. We anticipate those guys being back with us, but it's still early in the week yet.
And you mentioned it with Jeff's question about there's a noticeable difference in pressuring the quarterback in the second half. Was it just winning more one-on-one matchups, or was there something specifically you guys did?
No, it was just better execution. It was not a lot of new calls. There's really no magic out there in the calls. We got to mix it up, and we've been doing that, whether it's bringing 4 and which 4 are we bringing, some secondary pressure, some linebacker pressure, bear front, even front, odd front, a little bit of everything. And we had more one-on-one wins. I think the defensive line, especially interior defensive line, as the game wore on, had some more productive rushes. I do think Cameron Good really throughout the entire season, and again on Saturday night, has been a very impactful player. Cam consistently has impacted the game, especially in the pass game, making it hard on the offense. And he did that again. Cameron is playing at a high level right now.
And opposite Cameron, Bimage really kind of flashed in that second half, and I think we're going to talk to him in an hour or so.
Yeah.
What did he do well, and what does he continue to do in practice to get to where he is?
Well, he's growing more and more comfortable within the scheme. He hasn't been here a real long time, so knowing what to do, transitioning from a different system to here. He's a physical guy. He's got power, and he plays very hard. So he's still learning, but we're really glad that he's with us. He had a couple very good rushes. He had a huge play on a split zone, taking on the block at the tight end, and then starting to rip the ball out of the running back's hand. And then Elijah came in and forced it out. And then he had a really big second down stop in overtime for a negative play. So he was noticeable.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, Justin, I think it's probably fair to say that Chase, the last 3 games of the 2019 season, that 3-game stretch was about as efficient and dynamic as he has been at Cal. Now, these past 3 games, you've got only 1 win, but is it fair to say that he's been almost, if not more so, effective and dynamic in this 3-game stretch as he was in those 3
Yeah,
wins over, Stanford, UCLA, and Illinois?
I see what you're saying. I think Chase is playing the best football of his career, and I think he can play even better. And he's making some, in the past 3 weeks, Chase has thrown the ball down the field in the intermediate range more successfully than he had in the past. And so it's great to see him make those. He ran the ball, scrambled, and had some timely runs, quarterback called runs. Great job by our offensive coordinator and offensive coaches designing those things. And I still think, and he would tell you the same, I would imagine there's a handful of plays where he can even take the next step in converting and helping us score touchdowns. So I think he's playing better and better. And I think this is probably the best stretch of football, collectively, that he's played here.
Follow up, not getting the results the past 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, obviously, those are the 2 games you lost are games you easily could have won. I would think in a team's mindset, you can look at it 2 ways. You can kind of go, dang it, we're so close. If we just do a little better, we're going to be successful this next Saturday. The other thing, honestly, God, we were so close and we didn't win, the woe is me syndrome. How do you avoid the latter and focus on the former?
We don't allow ourselves, we kind of allow ourselves on the plane ride home and Sunday. I mean, the plane ride home and Sunday, it sucks. I mean, there's just no 2 ways about it. I mean, it is painful, losing, and especially a game like that. It's a gut punch, but there's no option other than to drive on. And you got to wake up and you got to come back on Monday with energy and focus. And it's easier said than done. I'm going to be honest with you. And some people really struggle to do that, but we have some really, really motivated, tough guys, emotionally tough guys on the team. And they came out yesterday and did a great job. Nobody's okay with losing. We don't accept losing. We don't pat ourselves on the back for good effort. Good effort and toughness is expected. That's the price of admission just to be here. So we expect to win, but we're also, not going to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves because Washington State's coming in and they don't care about that. Nobody does. So we can't sit around and feel bad and woe is me and coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's not a way to live life and not a way to play football.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferraro from Cal Sports Report.
Yeah, Justin, when Trace asked you about the injuries from the other night, we didn't ask about if there's an update on Coin Ding.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks now, obviously.
Yep. Coin will be out for the near future. And I can't give you a timeline because some of it's just unknown based on his rehabilitation and his work with our sports med. But it's, it's significant enough that he'll be out again, and then we'll probably need to address it week to week.
So definitely out this week, and then I believe you have a bye. So you
Yeah.
wait and see what happens then.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's he doing? Sort of emotionally deal with this?
Oh, like you would imagine, he did disappointed. Coin's a competitor. He wants to play. He's a team captain. I mean, he's got the ultimate respect of the guys on everybody in the program, not just the players. And so you hate to see that. It's an unfortunate part of our game, and we're going to support him like crazy. And he was sitting in here yesterday, and we were talking about how all he wants to know is how can I help the team right now? What can I do? And being in meetings and being around and just his presence is good for our team.
So there is no decision that he's done for the year.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, go back to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah. With Washington State this week, you guys didn't play them last year because everything that happened. They have the run and shoot offense. What have you seen from them so far this year?
They're same deal. I mean, their record doesn't really reflect maybe who they are when you watch the tape. I mean, they're defensively, they're taking the ball away at a really good clip. I think they got 10 takeaways so far. Very active on defense, 4-man front, and move on you and give you a bunch of different looks. Offensively, I know you, how'd you categorize them, Trace, as what'd you call them?
And a run and shoot, since
Run and
Coach
shoot.
Rolovich is from that
Yeah.
tree.
So, which is true, and they have some of those elements. They're also, excuse me, get a drink of water. They run the ball. You know, they give you more variables in the run game. It's not the same as the Wazoo with Coach Leach. It's different schematics than that. So they have a good back, a really good slot receiver. The quarterbacks are all a little bit different, but they played a number of guys. They got a really good couple tackles. And so they give people issues. And like I said, I don't know that their record necessarily reflects the capabilities and the schemes things that we're seeing. I mean, they're a talented team, and they're going to come in here and battle.
And on their defense, you said it yourself, they have 10 takeaways. I think 6 of those are fumbles. Do you notice that? I guess, how much does that show up on film, that they're punching the ball out often? Or
yeah, just getting a lot of guys, they play hard, they get to the ball. For like a lot of us, we're always trying to figure out ways to create more takeaways on defense, and effort to the ball is the first thing you can do. And they've done a good job of that, and had some timely, opportunistic hits and takeaways.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill from Bear Insider.
Coach, Saturday's game looked in the first half like it might get away from you, but the team obviously did some good things in the second half, and Chase and some of the other guys. Do you see some areas of growth that you feel like you can really build on to get back on track the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't feel good at times in the first half, with defensively. We had a really good stop right out of the gate, and then we had a chance on sudden change, really to make another stop there on 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8. Didn't quite get the ball out, so they scored. And then later in the first half, defensively, we just, whether it was a penalty or a missed sack, we couldn't quite get that 3rd down stop that we were looking for. And so that didn't feel great. Offensively, had some opportunities that, the turnover early hurt us, but then moved the ball pretty well at times. And there was really no panic in the locker room. We just needed to, it's kind of these small little things that really make a big difference. In the second half, I thought we came out and competed really hard defensively, kept competing, and got a bunch of stops. And offensively, we're moving the ball. It's just, there's probably 30 plays in that game. You could pick any one of them that really changes the outcome, and we got to find a way to make those. That's the secret, and it's not one thing.
Also, obviously you're limited in what you can say about the officiating, but there were a lot of calls that on further review a day or two later seemed to be a little bit lopsided. How much of a concern is that when you're going into a game and doing all you can to win a game and things are out of your control like that?
Jim, if I was allowed to officiate on or comment on officiating, I would comment. I'm not allowed to. So any questions regarding officiating should go to the conference and David Coleman and that group. So that's it.
Okay.
Okay, Jeff Ferrato from Cal Sports Report.
Yeah, a couple more things. Justin, you referred to the Washington State quarterbacks. I think they've had actually 4 of them have played already, but obviously Delora and Guarantano, the transfer from Tennessee, are the guys getting most of the snaps. How difficult is it to prepare for a couple of different guys like that?
They are different. They both have, or they all have different styles. Jaden Delora is like, it's kind of like a point guard, he's really active. I mean, he's active even when the plays, not going. You know, you just see him. He's noticeable. He's kind of bouncing around, and he's like plays the game like a point guard, and makes things happen. And he's a talented guy. Again, I remember him playing in high school. He's a really good high school player too. And then Jarrett is kind of a little bit more, I guess, what you call traditional. You know, he's big, tall, throws the ball down the field. He's played a lot of college football. And again, another talented guy, but they do have different styles. And I'm sure they have certain things like any offense where, you know, they kind of like, you know, a little bit of this or a little bit of that more with each guy. But, you know, offense doesn't change radically on tape anyway. But I'm sure they probably have their preferences with each guy.
And can you give us any clarity on why Christopher Brooks has played so sparingly? Is he hurt? Or is there anything you can tell us about his usage?
You know, not really. We planned on playing him a little bit more. The way the game was going, the flow of the game, and kind of Damian's runs and things we had going. Damian played more. We want to get Chris more involved in the game, and you know, sometimes the plan going in changes during the game because of the dynamics of the game. So there's really nothing he's doing wrong, and we think Chris can help us and get some good carries for us, catch the ball, do the things that he's done before. So that's where it's at.
Well, it seems like it's more than just the one game, though. It seems like it's kind of been season long, and Damian has done a good job for you, clearly. But Chris was such an effective runner for you a couple years back. It's just seriously just a matter of one game after another circumstances, or?
Well, no, I mean, he was a little bit dinged up game one. I don't know if you remember that, but got dinged up and wasn't able to finish. So, I mean, there's those things play into it as well. I mean, you have the, you know, health of the players that impacts playing time as well.
And he's healthy now?
Yes. Again, there's most people playing right now. There's it's relative health, you know. Healthy is July 28th, you know. In season healthy is what it feels like right now, and there's a range there. So everybody's got something who's playing, and it's just a matter of, you know, how significant that something might be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Hey, Justin, just following up on that, but maybe one that you can address more readily. How is Justin Wilcox's health, and will you still be on crutches on Saturday?
I'm fine. I had a previous injury in summer that got worse about 2 weeks ago. I had to get it fixed. So I had a half a day that I had to miss. And other than that, nothing that's impacted the team moving forward. It's an inconvenience for me, and that's it. In terms of how long, we'll see. As fast as humanly possible, I'm aiming to set a record for rehabilitation.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, Jeff, go ahead, Jeff Rada.
Yeah, I have one more, which is the last two games, Justin. It seems that you guys are deliberately running Chase more. Is that just something that you feel like he can add to the offense by doing so?
Yes. Yep. I mean, and again, I could speak from a defensive perspective, how when a guy can throw it and a guy can run it, it gets the calls on defense. The math doesn't always work great when a guy can do both. And so, you know, we're probably not going to turn into a triple option team overnight, but the ability, one of Chase's strengths is using his legs, and he's a strong guy. He's got good speed. He made some really good design quarterback runs, and he had some really good scrambles. And I know how difficult that can be on a defense.
Is he deceivingly fast? I mean, is he faster than you'd think as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chase runs pretty well. He's about 6'3" and 230 pounds, and especially the touchdown run he had, that was a really nice run. You know, he ran a little quarterback counter, and he split it, read it right, set up the blocks. And I mean, again, the math doesn't work great on defense when you have to cover everybody and you want to maybe support a little bit of coverage and not play zero and then account for the guy running. that can get difficult.
So regardless of how much you actually do run them in the future, it's nice that the other team has to worry about it.
Absolutely. That changes the game. When the quarterback can make plays with his feet, it changes things defensively. I mean, it just does. Again, the coverages you play, how much help you can give to your coverage, it changes, because if you don't have eyes on them, or even when it's a design pass, if you're going to play man-to-man, everybody's got their back turned, and the only guy that can see him is the post player in the 4-man rush. If the 4-man rush doesn't get him on the ground, well, it's him and the post player. Everybody else has got their backs turned. So there's that. Again, then there's the design quarterback runs. There's just a number of ways that a mobile quarterback can be very difficult for a defense.
And I take it this works now because he's become much smarter about how to avoid hits.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need him taking a shot every time he runs it. So we want to be smart about, if you're going to take one, 3rd or 4th down or goal line, and I think he's got a, better feel for that maybe than when he was younger and he was just running, for the love of the game and running into people. But he's a good athlete. One of Chase's strengths, he's, a really good athlete and big and strong. And so we want to utilize that.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Trace Travers, looks like you have another question. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah. With regards to the tackling, it has looked somewhat better over the past 2 games. Where you guys feel like you are in terms of getting to where you want to be tackling?
Work in progress. We're a work in progress there. Like to be more productive in our tackling in general. We need to make some more one-on-one tackles, especially on the perimeter when the ball gets out there on a bubble or a flare. And then when it's on the interior, really focused on knockback tackles, getting the pile moving the other way. So I think we're a work in progress, and there's some positions that we would like to be more productive in terms of tackling.
Thank you.
Anybody with a final question, just give you a couple more seconds here. If you do, put it in the chat. Looks like we're good.